Cowboy Nation, as we approaching the draft week. And I can't wait for the draft to hit, because now it removes all of the speculations and everything will be solid, right? Everything will be tangible and not intangible. Things that we can physically touch and see that the Cowboys roster will look like this, right? Also, and then after the draft, there's always the undrafted pool. Please don't sleep on those guys, by the way. A la Tony Romo, right? So there will always be the evaluation for the nation. And on top of that, there are still guys out there on the free agent market that can really solidify your team, believe it or not. And there will be this flow of transactions that happen. Players that get drafted to certain teams, there will be an evaluation phase, and teams will release some of their veteran guys, some of the guys that don't fit into their system. And of course, believe it or not, due to the coaching changes of certain organizations, some good players may not fit. So the Cowboys have a good window of time and money to go out there and grab a player that teams either don't see fit for their scheme, or they would like to elevate and develop a younger player. So the options are wide open. Now, I ran the mock draft simulator a lot of times, Cowboy Nation. I ain't gonna say thousands of times, but a lot of times. And even if the Cowboys just stay put, you can get a dynamic player. You don't have to reach. You don't have to go digging deep down into the draft and say, okay, this will be the guy we trade up and move up for. You don't have to do that. You flat out don't have to move around in this particular draft. Now, after your second pick, or to move up in the second round, you may want to play around with that part of it. You may want to move around on that part of it. But outside of that, your first pick with the 24th pick, you can still get a dynamic player that will solidify your team in the first round if you stay put. Now, I'm not dogging the Cowboys if they trade back or what have you, but I don't want the Cowboys to get greedy. Flat out, I don't want them to get greedy. Just stay put with the 24th pick, and then after the 24th pick, you can wheel and deal or move around or what have you to get multiple picks within the top 100 if that is what you're looking for. Now, as far as the free agency after the draft, we got two key players that's still out there on the market, I believe, as of Sunday. And so far, Jadeveon Clowney is still out there on the market. And also, so far, the Honey Badger is still out there on the market. Now, granted, I'm not saying the Cowboys should look into those guys, but hear me out. Hear me out, Cowboy Nation. The Dallas Cowboys can, dare I say, pick up those guys if they don't get the guy that they want in the draft. If somehow the draft does not fall in favor of who they're looking for, and you're still looking to get this team better, there's no problem after the draft to reach in, hear me out, Cowboy Nation, and bring in some of the guys for a cup of coffee. Now, some of our holes on this team, the front five, the guard spot, that's a big hole right there. No way you can look at it and say it's not. It's a big hole at the guard spot. Now, there's a Darrell Williams out there in the free agency. He's 6'6", 330 pounds, but he plays right guard, right? We don't have issues at right guard, right? We don't have any issues at right. But if you want to bring in a guy for a cup of coffee to insert him because he do have guard play, you can call him up, right? So there are so many ways. However, wide receiver situation for the nation. This wide receiver class is just too big for the Cowboys not to draft a wide receiver to help. We got Michael Gallup, who will play that X position for the Cowboys when he come back. I don't see them line him up inside the slot a lot, right? I feel that the Cowboys will utilize CeeDee Lamb more back inside the slot and play him at Amari Cooper's old spot. Nevertheless, the Cowboys did go and get James Washington. Now, James Washington, he lamented that the Steelers didn't use him right. The Steelers didn't use him up to his max ability. And of course, they were playing short ball with him because good old Ben Roethlisberger arm was given out on him. So they didn't run him the certain routes that he was accustomed to running in college. They pretty much dummied down the offense just a little bit to get Ben rolling. And I don't blame him. Ben is a Hall of Famer for him. He will go to the Hall of Fame, by the way. It's just that he got long in the tooth and certain injuries happened that he never looked like Big Ben that threw the ball all over the field. I digress. So we only can live off of hope for James Washington, and we can only sit back and wait to see how he will look in this particular system. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, I don't think that there's a lot of teams that's sitting there saying, hey, man, we in fear of James Washington on the outside, who wears number 83, by the way, for the Cowboys. No. So I think that the Cowboys will still evaluate the wide receivers in this draft and bring in somebody that can either take the top off the defense, stretch the field, keep it open for this quarterback, and on top of that, make it easier for the other wide receivers to eat. Or they go with the philosophy of picking up somebody who's similar to Michael Gallup, big physical guy that can high point the ball out and bring it out of the sky. They could go with those two options there. Here's the truth with it. We don't know until after the draft, right? And then we could talk praising and high praise a guy. It don't mean nothing until you put those pads on, right? There's a mini bust in the drafts, so we'll find out. Neither here nor there. On the defensive side of the coin, the Dallas Cowboys went from the 30th ranked defense, climbed all the way down off of that top part, right? Or if you want to inverse it, climb up out of the grave, out of the 30th, and got all the way down to the 12th ranked defense, which is cool. Flat out cool. Number one team in takeaways, number one team on third down defense. Now one can argue, hear me out, one can argue that this particular team, that growth aspect was phenomenal. And we got to get better, right? So the best way to get better in that department is make and find another playmaker. Somebody that you can pair up with your dogs that's already out there. Who are the dogs that's out there on this particular defense? One being Michael Parsons. The best way you can help out Michael Parsons is to keep the front clean, right? He said that he would still like to play everywhere and anywhere on the field, not primarily paint him into a corner as an edge guy. Well, 9 times out of 10, for a linebacker, you need big bodies up front. Clear lanes, A and B gap need to be clean, right? When the opposing team get to the second level, you don't want to always run up against the guard or the tackle yourself. You want that to already be occupied so you can make plays, read, react, and explode. RRE, you guys know I've been talking about that, right? So in this draft, you got Leo Chanel, you got Tyndall that's out there. You got linebackers that can blow through the A gap or B gap. I even like Muma. You got so many players at linebacker that you don't have to go into the first round to go pick up, to pull up, and to help this team. Excuse me, even in the first round, you got Big Jordan Davis, right? You got Wyatt, which I'm really skittish on Wyatt because of the off-field situation that happened in 2020. You guys know how that goes. He'd probably be okay for any other team, but if he goes to the Cowboys, people gonna bring up that arrest situation that happened in 2020. But neither here nor there. There are linebackers in this draft to pair up, to match up with Michael Parsons. And even if you like Troy Anderson, a developmental type of linebacker who's very versatile and that can play quarterback for you, running back for you, and I feel that he got a good feel of the field, right? Because he played that quarterback position and he just know where the soft spots at in his zone. He can cover that hook area. I can see him for the future be a dog good Mike linebacker, but for right now you play him on the weak side. But neither here nor there, his tape kind of looks similar to an LVE, but he's more athletic and he at least greets you in the hole when it's time to tackle. Look up Troy Anderson, but I'm not saying that the Cowboys should draft target him. You know, that's just how it goes. Nevertheless, this team need to also look at defensive back of who you're going to pair up and match up with my dog Trayvon Diggs. Now, I get it. Trayvon Diggs had 11 interceptions, gave up 856 yards. Some stats are saying that he gave up 907 yards. Some stats are out there saying he gave up 1,000,000 yards or 1,000 yards or 10 billion yards. I get it. You want to patch up Trayvon Diggs with another guy on the outside that can help this thing out. Now, you got Kelvin Joseph. So far, he's your other DB out there. And, of course, the off-field drama for your mama, it don't go away. I get it, right? But for right now, he's not arrested. He's an innocent man for right now, and he's going to fight for that role. You got Nashawn Wright. At this point, you use high draft capital for him. He's going to fight for that role. He's not going to fold up. He's not going to say, well, Anthony Brown's spot or Jordan Lewis' spot. I don't see a team that's drafting 2 DBs in the earlier of the rounds to sit back and watch these guys, watch the other guys that's out there on the field. No, I think the Cowboys are going to figure out a way to utilize those boys. Nevertheless, there could be a situation and an opportunity for the Cowboys to still double back and draft a defensive back in this particular draft. It could be Tariq Woolen, who really fits the system that Dan Quinn is trying to put out there. Tall, rangy cornerback that's out there in the field. I think Tariq Woolen is about 6'3", 6'4". So that could be a situation. Who got pretty good feet, by the way. Redirect, long, lengthy guy. Played cover 3 pretty well. And he can match up good on man-to-man defense. But I want the Cowboys to not look at size. Don't fall in love with the size. I like my dark horse Marcus Jones. Baby! Hey, down there in Houston, this guy is 5 foot nothing, but he flies, he hits, he's not afraid to make the tackle, and he's a versatile punt return, kickoff return specialist. And on top of that, if you're in a pinch, if you want to put this brother on the offensive side of the coin, he can do that too. So I like Marcus Jones. Excuse me, and I like Trent McDuffie, who can do similar things, but not all of the offensive stuff. But he's a smaller guy you can put inside the slot, and he could be your nickel corner, or shoot, push come to shove, you can put him on the outside. Trent McDuffie plays like a Buddha Baker mixed in with the Honey Badger. I like those boys. So what I'm trying to say is, Cowboy Nation, the draft, all of the speculation will be gone by next week. We will know exactly who we have on our team, and this team should get better regardless of the situation. We only have 3 big holes on this team, and that's the core on the defensive side, in my opinion, whether it's a linebacker or an interior guy. And on the offensive side of the situation, hey, the Cowboys have a little issue with the offensive line and, of course, with the wide receiver. Post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. The name is Law Nation. Be sure to hit that like, share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and beyond. That's been my time. Salute.